Ever since I did a series on Japan, I get asked a lot, where's my favorite place to eat in Japan? My answer often surprises people because I love Tokyo, Kanazawa, all the other areas that are more famous in Japan, but probably my favorite place to have a meal is Okinawa. The food in Okinawa is eclectic. It's kind of a mix of Japanese and Chinese and Western and Southeast Asian food all jumbled together. And one of its most classic dishes is what I'm making for you today, Okinawan taco rice. This video is brought to you by the Noritake Black on Black range. And if you like the look of this and want to get your hands on some and you live in Australia, stay tuned to my Instagram because there's a giveaway coming up on there very, very soon. Noritake is a Japanese Chinaware company with a lot of history, established back in 1904, more than 100 years ago. And if you want to understand taco rice, you need a bit of a history lesson in that itself. There are American military bases on Okinawa, and surplus taco seasoning was sold out of some of the bases to the communities that lived around there. Without the taco shells, this dish was invented, taco rice. And it's exactly how you think it sounds. Taco ingredients on top of ordinary Japanese rice. It is so delicious and so simple, you are not going to believe it. Okay, this is what we need. Just some ordinary minced beef, about 500 grams. And this is just packet taco seasoning that goes with about 500 grams of mince. Now, before you get all up in arms, it's totally okay to use packet taco seasoning. This dish was invented using packet taco seasoning. I've made all kinds of versions of this. I've made fancy versions, I've made baked versions, I've made grilled versions, I've made melted cheese versions, but I thought I'd give you the original version, the version that goes all the way back to when this dish was invented. And if you go to Okinawa on a plane today, this is the version that you're likely to get in most places in Okinawa. If you're absolutely against using packet taco seasoning, and I don't know why you would be, it's very easy to make your own. A bit of onion powder or garlic powder if you want, but the basis of taco seasoning really is just some salt, some cumin, a bit of paprika, and oregano. So, beef, taco seasoning, a bit of soy sauce, and this is dashi, a Japanese stock. You could just use water or chicken stock as well. You just need to fry these together. That is as easy as it gets. I'll go to the stove. Now this is really, really simple. No mirepoix, no onions, no base, no nothing. It's pared back to its very, very basic level, and that's what I absolutely love about this. You could add tomatoes and things in there, you could add onions obviously, but I just love it just the way this is. I'll fry the beef until I get that nice and brown on the outside. In with the seasoning, soy sauce, and then my stock. I'll bring that to a simmer and then drop on one of these. This is called notoshi buta in Japanese cooking. It's just something that you put on top of something that you're simmering to stop it from jumping around too much and also to control the evaporation. About 10 minutes and this should be good to go. And that's just about perfect for how it should look. Dry but still juicy, glossed with a bit of oil that's come out of the mince itself. And then it's just a matter of putting it on the plate, really. Got some lettuce, which I'll just shred, and some tomato that I'll slice quite thinly. As well as the lettuce and the tomato, I've got just some ordinary salsa to serve it with. A bit of shredded cheese, again, as ordinary as you like. You should be able to see how simple this dish is. It just comes together from the basic ingredients that people had to hand around the army bases in Okinawa. There is something that's a little bit of a unique Okinawan twist though, and that's this. The famous alcohol in Okinawa is called awamori, and they make a condiment called koregusu. Koregusu is basically awamori. It's a bit like rum or vodka. And you put whole chilies in there with a bit of salt and you let it sit, and you let it sit, and you let it sit. This is my koregusu that I made about 8 years ago now, and you can see the color. It started off as a pure white spirit, and then slowly the color and flavor of these chilies has infused into it. Just a sprinkle of that on the top finishes off the taco rice. Before we get to there, we get it all onto the platter. I'm using the large 16-inch oval platter from the Black on Black range, and it starts with a bit of rice. Again, you can trick this up, you can plate it up in fancy ways, you can grill the cheese on top. But if you go to my favorite taco rice place in Okinawa called king taikos, this is exactly how you'll get it. Stir the meat, then you take some spoons of that and just put it on top. The lettuce next, no, not the cheese, the lettuce. Slices of tomato on top again, and then cheese right over the top again. I truly don't know anyone who wouldn't be impressed with that. Serve it with some salsa, a bit of my homemade koregusu, almost chili vodka, I guess you could call it. And that is a very simple Okinawan taco rice.